here. Ladies and gentlemen, they have moved stadiums, and we have a brand new studio as well. My name's Hysterics. I'm joined by Mr. Clement Chu. And LNG in a new environment, new roster. They got everything new right now.
Yeah, we're going to catch up on this series really quickly. It's our debut for LNG. Like you were mentioning, they moved all the way from Chongqing, which is about 3 hours flight away, around the greater Shanghai area to Suzhou. They've got a new crowd, a new city behind them. I want to see what they can do.
That's right. They've got new top laner, new support here for LGD side as well, just to get everyone up to date. Even Fin has gone from LNG to LGD, which is nice that they're starting off.
Yeah, the shadow of Maple chases him everywhere. But just to talk about the main roster changes that we're going to go into, LNG have lost their mid and jungle. Fin and Plex are no longer on the roster, and most importantly, SOFM, which has been there starting from season, I believe,
been
season
with Flandre
6 or season 5.
4 years, yeah.
Yeah, a long time, and part of their mad scientist brand has now moved off to Suning.
Yep.
Sorry, SOFM has now moved off to Suning. In their place, they have now gotten Maple, who was previously of Suning, and then also Xiongxiong, who was previously of
also
Top
known as
Esports.
XX, yeah.
Yes, so this is a completely revamped type of roster, and what I want to see out of them is what their coach, Nelson, told us, is that they wanted to see more decisive shot calling coming out from the two. Both of them were leaders on their previous squads in advancing the map objectives. And what we've seen from Demacia Cup is that they play a lot of Pantheon and Elise together. They really try to create a similar synergy to from what we've seen in Dormientian.
Because they're a really different dynamic, XX and Maple. You don't pair them together and go, oh, that'll be interesting. And I know, when we did our power rankings, when the whole team did, LNG were rated quite low because this unconfirmed dynamic and what it would actually look like. Because on paper, it's questionable. It's more about the practice and what LNG can show us against LGD.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, what we've been seeing from LNG is that these two players were basically upgraded out of their positions.
Yep.
They found Angel for Suning, and he's now the starting mid laner, and also Xiongxiong was replaced by Karsa. So if they can create a new dynamic, a new start for them, that's absolutely great and great for the LPL, because we're not just losing talent, we're consolidating them and building new teams.
Whereas for LGD, the biggest story is that Peanut has actually come over from the LCK.
There you go.
Once SKT Peanut world finalist, world champion, Peanut is and always will be looked at as one of the best junglers in the world, looking to prove himself once again.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen Peanut on the international stage. He did have to sit out most of 2019, didn't really make that many playoff appearances then. And what we want to see out of this roster is how well can Peanut actually pair up with Yuki. Now, something very interesting has happened. We've had the first Aphelios sighting on 10.1. That's going to go to Kramer. And Kramer is going to be the main carry for LGD. Now, looking across, we talked about the Pantheon and Elise straight off banned away by LGD, and we're looking at a combination between...
I love the Yasuo ban from LNG as well. When you see something like a Grog, it's very common the Brom to pair along with it.
Yuki's a huge Yasuo player as well. And we're seeing Aurelia in the mid lane, one of Yuki's most favorite champions to play there. Very interesting start off here. I can't wait to get in game here. What it does look like is both mid jungles have a lot of kill potential, and we're going to see Aphelios finally pop off.
Yeah, just a note to everyone as well, we are going into this game in full. Of course, in Suzhou, this did start at 7 o'clock. So, quick look at the pick and bans, quick look at the champions choices. I like that Maple has a confidence to start off with something like the LeBlanc. But as you mentioned, eyes on the first Aphelios of the LPL. Let's get into it. We're in Suzhou. We're in LNG's brand new arena. And they're going to see if they can warm the home crowd with a win here to kick off the LPL.
Oh, they're already throwing out the white flags.
That's a good sign, Clement. Now, of course, LGD's home arena in Hangzhou. Their fans here a bit limited. LNG have the home crowd advantage, but we're speaking a lot about blue side and red side, Clement. LGD blue side Aphelios, we talked about the powerful picks that could be achieved, and it looks like Aphelios was the one.
Aphelios is a champion that you can go really in-depth with. There's so many different combinations that he can pull off with his skill rotations. And I will generally talk about what I've seen from Aphelios players. The most useful combinations have been the Calibrum with the Gravitum for cash potential. Moonshot has a very long range at 1450.
Yep.
And then most of your DPS combinations come from the other 3 weapons. So the way you want to set that up is, I see a lot of players actually just trying to expend their Severum early on, get their DPS combos, guns aligned with each other, and let's just try to lane with the early Calibrum and Gravitum, try to get ganks with those going.
Yeah, the ability to really lane with Calibrum is super easy, isn't it?
There's also a big circle around it. I love that. Makes it so easy.
The best part. And, you know, talking to some people as well, looking at Gravitum is that gun that you need in a competitive environment like this, right? Like, Gravitum works, but only if your team works with it, if that makes sense. We are getting a closer look at the runes here. No big surprise. Conqueror is the way to go. Overheal and Bloodline attached within as well. So with Severum, Kramer is going to be a sustaining machine.
This is a very different build from what we typically see. Because of your ability to heal yourself up with Severum, it's actually quite a high heal. Most of the Aphelioses do go with press the attack instead.
Okay.
So this one is basically trying to play towards a close range Aphelios.
Yep.
He's going to be... the Severum already has an overheal effect to the ability, so you're going to stack that up with another overheal rune.
We'll see if it changes the build, though, because if you talk about press the attack, when Aphelios start, I will hold that for a second, because XX is running into Peanut in the jungle. He's gone over the wall. Peanut now going to have to body slam out of the way, but look at where the top laner is. Colt can come down here if XX continues forward, makes the move, postures aggressively, and XX backs away.
This is something that Peanut mentioned himself during the Demacia Cup interviews. He said, well, I was getting invaded on very deep into my jungle when I was backing, and that's the moment I realized I was now playing in the LPL. We do chase relentlessly if you're playing something like the Gragas. You know, the Jarvan with his auto attacks is going to have a sizable lead. Also, the Conqueror's build coming in from Xiongxiong as well. So he's really going to force the advantage. And also, Aurelia's not going to be able to help out against the LeBlanc early.
But this is nice from Peanut. He's walked in topside, immediate
kill.
Melee body slam into the kill. Colt is set up to succeed with first blood.
Yeah, Xiongxiong thought he had already evicted Peanut from his top side of the jungle. But Peanut, you know, just had the patience to walk around there. Good win on his side.
Now, XX is looking for the invade, though. This is going to be an issue. Peanut gets caught out. Flag and drag, easy body slam out. Might give away the Gromp, but he helped get first blood for his top laner. That's more than a worthy sacrifice.
And just going back into the lane, of course, we're going to have to talk about Aphelios a little bit more. His gun rotation for the first round is standardized, so you're going to get Calibrum, Severum, Gravitum, and you're going to go into the Infernum and then to the Crescendum later on. And how you choose to manipulate your first rotation actually matters a lot. Sure. The general idea is you want to keep the gun that you're going to use later in your offhand and just have it whenever the scenario pops up. So generally, team fighting, Infernum is going to be your most reliable weapon. A lot of the one-shot potentials that you've seen in all the YouTube highlight clips.
With the ultimate,
Yep, have come from Moonlight Vigil.
Well, he's on to Infernum right now. He's got Gravitum as well. And like I was talking about before, the combination, maybe more so with Chance here in the bottom lane and the Brom, that's how it seems to fit in so far. So we're past Severin, we're past Calibrum, and we've got ourselves a bit of AoE clear here to push up Kramer in the lane.
It's actually a little bit difficult to see the gun rotations. I really wish they would implement this into the spectator somehow, but for now we're going to have to
become a developer, man.
Yep, we're going to have to take some educated guesses.
Well, I'll keep you informed. I know the colors, Clement. I know the looks. We're Gucci at this point. XX, however, is not because he's standing on a ward. So the Jarvan spotted out. Peanut's here for the counter gank as well. I will say so far, Peanut has been in the right place at the right time throughout this first game.
Yep, always trying to match the ganks. And even though he was bullied out early, I feel like he's in a perfect position. This is something that happens a lot when your enemy just pushes in the wave and causes it to bounce. Like, enemy junglers could be anywhere.
Oh, here you go. Gravitum, the combo here with Infernum, does get the double root down. Peanut still doesn't come out of the brush, though. Doesn't want to reveal himself, can't use the opportunity, and I guess LGD just catch the wave and go on with it.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty safe play coming in from LGD. They didn't want to risk the potential of fighting in a massive minion wave.
True.
And just with the combo that Aphelios pulled off there, it was the Dusk Wave. You land an extra auto attack with your offhand gun, Gravitum on everyone. A very common combo that you see in these ganking situations. And One of the things that really makes him incredibly powerful is his ability to get long-range lockdown in the lane.
Yeah. Push through the minion wave, get that gravitum combo. Clement, while we are at this point, while we do have a bit of a lull, we didn't get a chance to talk a little bit about the rosters of LGD and LNG. More so LGD because Peanut is the big name to pair with Kramer. Everyone should know Yuki by now as well, but Chance and Colt, rookies who've come up from the LDL in their own individual rights.
Yeah, Colt is the one that I find pretty interesting. He's coming over from EDG Young, their LDL team, and he's very different from their previous top laner in Lies in that he plays basically solo push champions. He's going to go for the Aatrox, he's going to go for the Renekton. He has a lot of AD split pushers instead of the team fight that we saw from Lies. And the question for me is, how is LGD going to develop? Which direction are they going to take? Are they going to go for the crazy top side where they have Yuki, Peanut, Colt constantly taking risks, trying to play high variance and try to snowball the game? Or are they going to play more towards Kramer, which the last split was actually more what they were tending towards?
It was more successful.
Yeah,
call it what you will.
It was hard to name success for LGD. That's what I'm going to say. Ooh, very good trade by Flandre.
Yeah, look, Colt won't get pulled back in. Flandre does smack him right on back, but while we are talking about the rookies, you know, individual lane talents, what they need in the top lane was maybe a winning chance. Maybe Colt gives that to them. Right now, we're going to find out if he can survive.
He still does have his ultimate, and he can pop suddenly Instant Fury from that one. You have to be very careful when diving Renekton, so they're just going to let the wave push out once more. Xiongxiong does have that CC combo lined up.
He's skeptical. He's thinking, hang on a minute. What's going on here? Now, not level 6 on Xiongxiong, but he does have Flag and Drag. It's an easy kill if Flandre flashes for him.
I think the spirit of Mouse is talking to him now. Don't go forward.
XX is being super patient, but there's a lot of time. You see pings are coming down. Well read. That was instant and beautiful.
I just love how Colt was scratching his head at the same time. He actually scratched it 3 times, and unfortunately for Xiongxiong, he came out when his hands were on the mouse.
And now Peanut's up towards the top side of the map. He's got level 6. XX does as well, but who's more impactful? Ult used by Colt. He flashes immediately. This Renekton is massive, but he doesn't get the kill as Flandre sent away with the explosive cut. Peanut doesn't help his top laner, and Yuki can't find Flandre. Instead, they turn for Maple. There's the Vanguard's edge right on top of the LeBlanc. Ignite there as well. They'll at least trade off with the kill going to Yuki.
Yeah, Maple must hate his life at that point. We did set the flash away from Flandre. That was absolutely necessary because Yuki could have came in, just get the Blade Surge reset.
Yep.
Looking at the combinations that we do have right here, Severum is the best charger you're going to get.
Solar Flare, but Chance just says door is closed. That was very anticlimactic. So, Clement, what else you want to tell me about Aphelios?
Your best DPS combo on single targets is to use Onslaught to charge up the Chakram, or it's called Crescendum, the gun.
Okay.
And the bonus damage actually crits, and you can get 360% bonus damage from it. Now, just to take a look at this top side, gank, Colt outplays it. Very close on just snagging the kill outright. Maple comes in, but unfortunate. Wow, they actually, I actually think they denied each other's combos there. So
a little bit.
Yeah, wasn't able to get the Distort over the Cataclysm.
I will say, unfortunately for Colt, Peanut sends the top laner away before it's a confirmed kill. So close but no cigar. And LNG, moments later, move to the bottom side, pick up the first Ocean of the game. Cloud is going to be next. So we're left with a Mountain or an Infernal Soul here in Game 1.
And we better get used to this. Wahaha energy drinks. Actually, they're fruit juice, I think. Fruit flavored water.
Okay. Wait, how does that work? Is it just flavored, or are there chunks of fruit in there as well?
You can buy one and test it out.
Okay, all right. We might not be able to buy one if they're already here, Clement.
That's a good point. I don't see them on my desk.
Okay, well, we'll go to the other studio. I think down there they have them. Well, at this point, fruit aside, I would say I'm looking towards mid lane for the side of LGD. We didn't get a chance to really outline full win conditions, but we'll have to pause again while Rift Herald starts.
Yep, this is going to be... actually, LGD still has a number advantage here. It's going to take a long time for Dwan to actually reach this part of the map.
Is this going to reset Clement? I don't think it's far enough out just yet. Okay, I was right.
LGD.
Well, Hang on, Clement. The split just started, all right?
I know. The reason that I didn't rate LGD higher was it never seems to just be the issue of talent on this team. They've had great rosters. You have to think about like 2016 LGD when they had like Marin and they had Imp, and that team still wasn't relevant. So a lot of the times for LGD, it really has to be see it to believe it for me. And I want to see how they develop. I want to see if they go with their high variance tendencies. No one's ever doubted their potential. You know, if they've taken down IG, they were one of the only teams to defeat FPX in summer. But at the same time, they only had 3 match wins throughout the entire summer split. So, you know, they have very good win conditions in Kramer. A lot of times, they just aren't consistent enough.
I mean, they need to show coordination here because this Rift Herald's gone back and forth. Eventually is secured by Peanut, but to get the Herald, LNG are going to zone them away. Remember, Herald only sits there now
only
for
20 seconds.
20 seconds, that's right. There's the Moonlight Vigil, but it does absolutely nothing at this point. Dwana's going to be poked down. They're going to go in for the engage. The Soul Play comes down as well.
Is anyone going to take
Kramer.
it?
He's still got the AoE. He turns to Severin last moment, sends out the turret. Kramer is still alive. Flashes in, survives. That was nice from LGD. They clean up the rest of the fight, and all 5 walk home.
1 for 3 trade out right there. LGD actually, you know, the start was a little bit messy right there. We didn't see a lot of skill shots actually being landed, but I do believe that Chance did get a good interruption onto Asura, blocked out most of the damage, and LNG couldn't coordinate all of their damage on a single target to take it down.
At least they were able to deny to the Rift Herald. LGD could not pick that one up in time, so you'll take a small win, but 3 kills is more than enough here, and Yuki's looking for the solo kill onto Asura. Vanguard's Edge not available, nor is the Ignite, but that's the flash burn from Misfortune.
Nearly a kill in that one already. And just to look where the spoils of war have gone to, Yuki's already sitting at 2-0-2, getting back into the team fight once more.
And we'll have a look again, Clement, because Dwan was the one they started on. It was a weak Moonlight Vigil.
Good spacing coming out from LNG. Stop that one. And yeah, they had to switch targets right there. Very good job by Cult going in and just stopping all the damage that could come out on the likes of Flandre. He did land onto Aphelios, but wasn't able to finish off the combo. And very good interruption.
No, Yuki benefits the most from that as well. 2-0-2. Has himself a Phage, already had the Tiamat, so building towards the early Trinity Force. Meanwhile, Colt has the Black Cleaver in inventory. So he's feeling good. The top laner who is making his debut here in the LPL is off to a very good start.
Yep, and they're chasing Flandre away, denying him from the full wave once more. And I think this is what you're going to see from LNG much more often, is them trying to sacrifice farm on Flandre's part, trying to shift it over towards Asura. Asura has proven himself to be a great AD carry. He's also a very noted Vayne player. But what happened basically in LNG's summer split was that their mid-jungle was pretty much absent in a lot of games. They didn't have the best synergy between SOFM and Plex, and their bot lane suffered heavily for it.
Well, Flandre is going to suffer again. You talk about taking away resources. He's just going to lose it all. Flashes away. World Ender as well. And now they're going to have full control over this bottom lane turret. They're going to trade off on what LNG were able to do topside and push that gold lead towards 2K.
A strong start from LGD coming straight out of the gates. I also want to point out that at this point, Yuki can probably solo Flandre with a very comfortable lead.
Yep.
He's already sitting 2 levels above, coming in from the mid lane. That just propels LGD into a very stable 1-3-1 composition. And they're going to have a lot of catch potential coming onto that. Both Renekton and Aurelia are going to have great collapses when it comes down to it.
Gragas as well to add to that mix. I mean, Peanut so far, so good. And Speak of the Devil positioning around mid lane towards this dragon. Kramer has the shove with Chance, so LNG looking for a pick, but that means they're going to lose bottom side river control. They have no vision there right now, and LGD making their way over to secure the Cloud Dragon.
Not really contested whatsoever. LNG
Infernal.
can't do anything bot lane.
Clement, we got a hot rift again. We're back to square one. They like Infernals today. They like burning the brush, burning the bush. Shout out to everyone back home in Australia.
I hope you're all doing fine.
Well, man, dude, that place is on fire.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Hope you're doing better than the koalas there.
Well, you and me both. 4 minutes 30 until we find out who lit the fire. And at this point, 3 minutes 40 till Baron comes up as well. I think we only saw the one Rift Herald, Clement. As far as I'm concerned, my memory is not what it used to be. But one Herald this game. He said a priority shift between teams in the LPL. We'll have to see how it stacks up. No turret plating whatsoever this game.
Pretty slow going right now. I feel like LGD could try and overstack some of these side lanes to find picks. There's not much that Flandre can do at this point. He shouldn't be allowed to just pick up farm uncontested.
Yep.
And what they should do is just, stick to a 1-3-1 and have Peanut and Chance roaming around the map. It's very easy for them to get kills. And also Kramer, if you have the right combination, it's actually fairly easy to wave clear for Aphelios. He has all the tools he needs.
True. Essence Reaver in inventory, Zeal there as well.
That's the typical build that we do see is Essence Reaver plus Runan's Hurricane.
Okay.
Now you can apply multiple marks, especially on Gravitum, with the split arrows. So that's always a favorite. And then Aphelios, one of his weaknesses is that he is very mana hungry.
Yeah.
So you do want to get the Essence Reaver in.
That, and he doesn't really have an escape, is another one I'd add to that as well.
True.
Very true.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like, okay, but why Essence Reaver?
LGD topside now. You're talking about capitalizing on the side lanes. Well, Maple, very hard to find at this point. Has also, mind you, actually started with the hose too. So, interesting builds coming out today from our mid lane mages, but it seems like a lot of mid laners love the hose. Yep,
and we've seen this from Xiaohu and Demacia Cup as well. And the answer is, even if you're a LeBlanc building the hose and Banshees, you can still one-shot an AD carry.
Yep. Okay, Colt actually might be caught out here. 1v3 has to go into Dominus, or rather, will just die the Solar Flare to get the kill. And they force the flush out of him as well. Side lane achieved, while second Rift Herald now in combat. It's LGD starting.
That's a very impactful kill, because what it means is that it flips the matchup between Flandre and Colt at this point. He's going to get that extra tower, probably an extra wave here. And LGD, it's going to be harder for them to actually commit to the 1-3-1 at this point. They do get the Herald, however, so we're going to see how they use that to balance it back.
Okay, Herald's still in combat. Red buff taken by Azura, looking towards Peanut. There we go. And this is going to go down. So, second Herald will actually be achieved. Someone will get it. And it's Peanut. But where does he drop it at this point?
That was probably my least favorite change on the Rift. I really liked watching teams just stand there for 40 seconds.
What, looking for the Herald?
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
It didn't happen that much, to be quite fair. But it would have been a very different case if it was still there for 40 seconds. Peanut drops at mid. Okay, mid turret's going to be shredded down here. This is forcing a response from LNG. They've brought XX back to the mid lane. Maple's back, and so has Flandre. This Herald could get a second charge at this point. LGD is sticking around.
Yeah, it's actually very rare to see Heralds get second charges these days. It does take a lot more of its HP damage, up to 66%.
I mean, will they let it? They back away. Okay. That's very fair. You've got the Renekton in the side lane, though. Colt's still pushing. Remember, Infernal, that's the soul for this game, coming up in a minute.
LNG still within striking distance. I feel like both teams, they're both going for catch-related compositions. It's very easy for them to start skirmishes, but neither team really has the confidence to push out in force, and I feel like they're just hanging around and waiting for side lane plays to happen. Whoever goes bot is probably going to pick up some benefits, because the rest of the other members are really not in position to make any more plays.
It's just simply Dwan going around, getting deep vision, and denying roams here from LGD, it feels like. At this point, and that dragon comes up, see if there's any contestation. Kramer's like, this is my blue buff now. I will take this. Every time we switched around, he's been sticking to Calibrum and Severum in the laning phase.
Yeah, it's pretty common to see you just use up your Severum, and Calibrum is actually pretty decent for team fights, even though it doesn't have a lot of special effects.
Yep. Simply for the range, right?
Yep. 650 range, you match Caitlyn.
Well,
this is probably bad for Kramer. Oh,
he has the Runans right now as well, remember. With the Scythe Pistol equipped, he's just running in. Dwan is the one caught out, actually takes it to his advantage. Tanks up a little bit. There's the Misfortune ult. Explosive cast from Peanut was fantastic. While Colt's taking up the back line, Kramer is shredding whoever walks towards him. They may find chance, but there you go. The ult onto XX and Flandre does absolutely nothing. Kramer walks out at full health, but LNG are damaged.
That is 2 members hit. If you get the entire team, every one of them will then spawn another Infernum proc. It does need to be pretty much stacking up on each other, and that was a great play from Peanut. I really like his awareness onto Asura's position. Bullet time almost instantly stopped, and that's going to give them a free Infernal.
Yep, no one going near it. Infernal to start the ball rolling. That's number 1. 2 more to go for LGD.
I like how Kramer has been constantly going for the Infernum Moon Vigil combo.
Sure.
Yeah. You don't really see a lot of other combos. Moon Vigil with Crescendum, it's pretty much just for the stacks, and Gravitum is the other one that you see sometimes.
I guess when we say this as well, it's just what we see, right? Like what we see, because I said it before, and I'm like, oh, I've seen this quite a lot. Dwan, hang on a second. Might be caught out. But you have to deal with Gravitum at some point, you know?
True.
And I'll be honest, Maple over the wall, a little bit dangerous there. Yuki does have the Trinity Force and is pretty heavy at this point in the game. LNG have matched them though. And with Baron up and available, LGD are forcing it, but Dwan, even locked down here, has to be careful.
Yeah, what LNG need to do in these team fights is actually try to force out Peanut's ultimate before they can set up the bullet time. It's going to be very difficult, and I actually favor LGD's team composition in these fights more and more because they have better access into the backline onto Misfortune.
Big items as well. Explosive cast onto Dwan. Here comes the Solar Flare. Locks down to the Vanguard's edge onto Flandre. Keeps him busy while meanwhile, remember, Kramer is untouched and Conquerors is procced. Flandre flashes once again on the side of Peanut and Yuki. The Cataclysm locks down the mid laner of LGD. He goes golden while the rest of them come back in. That's the beautiful bullet time. That sweeps through, shoots them in the back, and LGD have to run now because everyone's dead. Peanut will join the death parade as LNG turn their attention to Baron.
That was a beautiful engage coming in from Dwan. He basically went in on the enemy siege team as soon as his Gargoyle Stoneplate gets up. That's why Leona is the #1 win rate champion in Demacia Cup.
Oh, hang on. Kramer has ulti.
No, he doesn't.
Okay. Kramer has his pistol.
Okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure he doesn't.
Okay.
Dwan might be going down here.
Well, he's behind Baron. He's taking a bit of damage at 1k. They are now. He's running in. Kramer has the side pistol. He's spinning and he's winning. But Maple will eventually get out. It was only the clone as Dwan will be the sacrificial lamb. Asura flashes over as well. But the main thing is LNG get the Baron.
Well done there. It was a little bit dicey. I was just waiting to see if Asura would actually pop his flash or not. But they do get it in the end and avoid disaster. Really well done by LNG, just going in on the timings. And a very important part is that you can see bullet time being undisrupted was such a massive difference in the team fights.
That's right. We've seen it all day long. That's Dominus from Colt. Okay. There's a time for everything. And the camera's now like, what did you use it for?
That was his teammates, I believe.
Yes, okay. Well, Clement, take away from that. Tell me the fight once more.
Yeah, so we actually missed the initial engage. It looked like Dwan was going down, but with Gargoyle's Stoneplate, he was able to absorb so much damage and then just trade back. Unfortunately for LGD, the team basically split up, and you can see their front line and back line basically was reversed in that fight. They snowball a great one. Baron's in the hands of LNG, and I want to see if this allows at least Flandre and Maple to create more pick opportunities. They can use these side lane waves. They can get it pushed, wait until LGD has to respond, and then the map opens up completely.
I'm waiting for that Baron to expire here from LNG as well. You got a minute 20 on the next Dragon too. And you can see Maple towards that side lane. Now has his Morellonomicon as the second item. Flandre towards the top. Yuki is still big though. And at this point, even with the 2-item Maple, no one really wants to deal with him directly.
Yeah, this is actually just the exact build that we've seen from Xiaohu in the Demacia Cup. You go Morellonomicons. You basically deny the chance for 80 carries to use heal to get back to full health, and you just try to pop them late game.
That's fair, and this game very relevant. You know, we talked about
overheal.
Kramer with overheal, that's right. Bloodline is in the kit as well. Gragas, Renekton. Yuki at some point, even though it looks like a Titanic Hydra building. Oh my! Somebody save Kramer. XX was like, damn! Down you go! 2-man Solar Flare onto Peanut too. And LNG get bored of waiting around, so they say it's time for LGD to die.
That was a great find on Asura. I believe that was double up being found and then instantly into the ultimate. You can actually crit with your ultimate as well. It does 20% extra damage. And a great find there, just forcing out Aphelios and getting 2 towers.
Right time, right place. Asura does it again. I mean, this is the 80 carry from 2019 that we hyped up so much as a rookie coming into the split who averted eyes and said, wow, this guy means business. And yet again, he starts off the split in the same way. That's a big momentum shift here for LNG. It's a 4K gold lead. It's a Dragon at the ready for them. And it's another turret with Maple getting the solo gold in the side lane.
Yeah, there's no real chance for Colt to actually catch up onto Maple. He's playing very respectful at the moment. I just kind of feel bad for LGD because they had a very sizable lead in the early game. With that 3-for-1 trade around the Herald, they should have been able to open up the map and get more catches. But wait a minute. What? Okay, never mind. There was no Q.
Are you sure? What? There's no way. Look, okay, maybe it's a spectator bug because there's no way you do that much damage with
that's pretty ridiculous.
One piece of ult. No way. Either way, look, Asura has that much damage with Infinity Edge, Essence Reaver, now the Phantom Dancer. Gives him that extra bit of oomph. Versus Kramer, who has himself a Lord Dominic's Regard as his 3rd item.
And I really like the awareness coming in from Asura as well. He knows that Baron is coming up, so he's instantly buying a pop going out there. He knows that he wants every last bit of damage he can get.
Because let's be real, inhibitors down. If LNG win the next fight, the death timers are getting kind of long. They set up the side waves, they set up mid. That could be it for game 1.
Very true. And we're seeing some of the quote-unquote weaknesses of Aphelios come in. He is a champion with very low mobility, and you really do have to use his melee combos to stay alive in the fight.
Yep.
You know, Severum into Crescendum is one of the ones that you see most often because the Onslaught quickly stacks up your Chakarums and allows you to do massive amounts of single target damage.
Because right now, we've seen that Kramer has been carrying these fights. However, at this point, LGD are losing their front line very quickly into it, thanks to Maple, thanks to Asura. So far, I think LNG showing they are the more coordinated team, the better team fighters, at least in this game.
Yeah, I felt like LNG just used their opportunities far better than LGD actually did. LGD had, once again, a great lead in this game that I felt like they should have snowballed even harder with Colt, and especially with the lead of Yuki. None of that really happened. They found no picks across the map, and LNG, they just played around their item cooldowns. You know, Gargoyle Stone Plate, instant engage, soak up all the damage. We're going to chase you into the side lanes.
Which, you know, if you're just coming back to LGD, if we're talking about problems or we're talking about how they didn't accelerate their lead, issue last year was we saw more of the same with the people in the roster. Like we saw Condi, we still had Yuki, you know, Garve, or even Buddyman in the jungle. Issue was Kramer was there trying his hardest, and LGD just couldn't make anything happen.
Kramer, for me, was a top 380 carry. I actually rate him very highly.
Yep.
However, the team didn't really play around him that well. We did see the coaching try to force it.
Never mind. No. Peanut too far forward. That's going to be an instant flash. LGD bring Flandre into tank on top. Chance has to walk away as the bullet time wasted this time from Asura. Yuki goes in, jumps into the back line. This might be a turn for LGD because look, Kramer is hitting, he's firing, he's smashing out with Severum now, and he's still at full health. Turns onto Flandre, he's next on the list. LNG might fire back, but look at this AD carry. He's still in it. Tuan jumps on in. Severum at the ready again. The flash in from Colt. The flag and drag. Kramer still not hit. Hits the ultimate as well. And Aphelios is banned for a reason. Because if he's untouched, he kicks ass.
Wow, triple kill coming in from Kramer. A lot of damage just soaked back up. And he's still at full health. Look at that overheal shield. He hasn't lost anything.
It looks like he was untouched. Having Severum in that fight was perfect for this AD carry. He picked up a triple kill. He picked up so much gold to back on another item, and this is how it began.
Yeah, there were a lot of good moves here. Chance with a great ultimate sealing up that pathway, and I believe Peanut actually caught Maple on the distortion. Maple just, you know, kind of instantly disappeared right here. Oh, he gets knocked forward with the Ignite on him, instantly falls down, and I think Asura might have chased the wrong target here. He does actually try and go down to finish off the bottom side of the fight, and that gives enough chances for LGD to kind of regroup. Dwayne can't find the Zenith Blade onto Kramer, and even with Xiongxiu on the double knockup, he can't prevent that great Moonlight Vigil with the Infernum, the best team fight combo that you're going to get. And Kramer with the 900 gold, he's in business.
Chance did a good job in that fight there as well. I think we're going to see a lot of pairing at the Brom, the tankier supports here with the Philios. Because if we talked about his immobility, we can at least say that if he ever gets to a dangerous point, yeah, Chance might be caught out here, but can they turn it into something? Yuki gets the stun down and Chance survives.
Wow.
Thanks to Yuki. Unlucky for LNG, but they almost got a pick.
Yeah, that's a key ultimate down for Chance, however.
True.
So LNG, what this means is that Asura is going to be much harder to block in these team fights. I think LNG are still going to play around that ultimate advantage and try to goad LGD to walk into them.
You can see what's equipped for the Aphelios right now. The Calibrum and Severum. It's not Severum. What is it?
It's Calibrum and Crescendum.
Thank you so much. We're going to be doing this a lot this year.
Yeah, and
but Crescendum, the range is huge.
Yes, that's the longest range combo you can do. Basically, you can drop a turret down, and if it attacks someone, you can then follow up with the auto attacks coming in from Calibrum.
I've seen someone put it in the tri-bush in bottom lane, and he literally just kills someone from 100 to 0 because they walk through the brush.
I've seen that clip too.
Yeah, it's pretty bonkers. But meanwhile, speaking of bonkers, LGD set themselves up for the Soul coming up next. So there's a condition back on the board. And because of Kramer, this game is going on 6-1 and 4. He picked up Infinity Edge after that triple kill. So the difference is now this time, LNG are going to die a lot quicker if they can't take care of Aphelios.
Yeah, they really need to snipe out Kramer. He's sitting right on top of a ward, and look at where Maple is. This is perfect positioning. LGD can't move down that ramp.
I don't know he's here just yet. Onto Peanut they go. Flandre dodges away.
They don't see the Baron Pit. That's the big difference. They're trying to force it.
Spotted out now, though, with the help of Kramer and the scrying Bloom. Chance by himself once again. Now spots Maple out. But the Baron dance continues. No one touching Baron just yet. Remember that 4-minute window there for LGD, so hang on. Peanut, out he goes. If LGD can delay this, they can look for the Soul. And they can look for the ultimate play.
That was pretty damn close for Peanut. If the Maple landed his chain there, I believe Peanut would be dead.
He was close. You can see that the squishiness of Gragas, the full AP Gragas is still there. See if a Banshee's Veil comes through this game for Peanut if he wants to opt in purely for Maple. But LNG reset. They back away, and LGD now have priority towards the Baron Pit. They can clear this out. They can threaten Baron, or they can reset themselves.
I'm looking at Flandre's build right here. I don't think that's the build you want to go for when you're trying to frontline. It's...
Youmu's get you there faster, Clement.
it does, but I think for LNG, the main thing they're looking for is actually just separation for Asura to kind of create a full channel on bullet time.
Yep.
That's what they've been setting up for all this time.
Oh,
I would have preferred the Sterix Gauge here, but
yeah,
see how he uses it. He is going to be able to traverse quicker.
I mean, he's running into, I guess, a weaker front line here from LGD, so lethality will mean more against LGD, but a couple of armor items already picked up, and Zhonya's will be next for Peanut most likely, so you're right, Clement. Flandre here, third item in the Youmu's, but at least he will do more damage to Baron, which is starting up now. Maple's not there yet. Dwan is zoning. LGD walking in.
I don't think you want to chance this Baron with Infernum up for Kramer. That's going to one-shot your entire team.
That's right, and he knows where they are as well. Chance himself drops a ward over the wall. Maple can't find the flank just now. They group up, and LGD have the inside track to the mid lane. Kramer's still here. He can snipe them out. Peanut's there, running on in. Flandre gets destroyed. Infernum with the Moonlight Vigil. And Inferno is the disco that LGD dance to.
That's what we call love around the corner in Chinese. You know, you never want to face check when the enemy team is aware of your movements.
That sounds very dirty, Clement, but you know what? I will not bark in the way of tradition. Inhibitor will go down. And Clement, you know what? That was beautiful to watch.
Yep, it definitely was. I felt like LNG should not have let that play happen. It was a little bit too easy on the execution for LGD. They're going to have a clean setup onto the Baron at this point, and there's no real reason, no real chances to flank. The best case scenario they want to get is basically to have Maple just assassinate someone. You can see the death cap already primed.
Yep.
This got that bullet or wand with Kramer's name on it.
But he needs Kramer. He needs Kramer out of anyone in this team. Yuki still able to survive. He has the GA, so assassination potential definitely goes down. Unless he can find Peanut, but that's hard. The CC involved. But you can see for LGD, this is their fight back. This is their ability to kind of bring themselves back in the game. While it was a uncertain mid-game after they had an advantage, they have done a good job to bring it right back, and now they're picking out on LNG. That's another flash burn. That's an ultimate again. The Moonlight Vigil with Gravitum locks him in place. It's layers of CC on XX, and he's not getting out. Kramer gets his 8th kill, and now this Baron should be very easy.
Aphelios is basically like something of a Sivir and then also an Ashe all tied into one. All of his abilities are incredibly useful, and I love the way that Kramer just threw out his ultimate, knowing that he would get the catch. They're putting themselves in a dangerous position. However, Kramer isn't tagged by the slow.
I mean, he's walking out. He's confident here. He doesn't care. He's got Graviton. He locks down one. Here comes the Vanguard Edge on the backside onto Asura. Kramer's hitting the rest. Look at the mid laner taking over the AD carry. LGD have won this fight, but the question is, who else dies? Colt runs forward. Maple flashes. There are no summoners left on LNG apart from that boding teleport. But look at Kramer again. Here comes Aphelios, and why you need to ban him, because this champion is so geared up the wazoo. He has a beautiful time taking down names and clearing blank checks.
Yep, he's not going to take that name down, but it's already over for LNG. They have no one defending the base at this moment. Maple's coming back, but that's a bit too little too late.
Straight into the Nexus, LGD bring it back from an uncertain mid-game, secure game 1 against LNG.
We can see smiles on Kramer's face, happy that he has his new teammates, and quite disbelieved that he got to play Aphelios
that he got
today.
Aphelios. You can see why this is the first ban on Red's side. That champion is pretty insane right now. And needless to say, Kramer brought that game back from the brink of despair in that one big team fight mid.
Yeah, a lot of healing coming out from his build right there. Good usages of the catch potential with the Gravitum, and also great on LGD's Peanut to follow up on a lot of those plays. LGD do have a, I wouldn't call it a convincing game 1 win, but you're starting to see the budding of some synergy here.
Yeah, the power of the bottom lane. Also, Colt had a great early game. But you're right, it is the building of synergy here in this split, and that's what needs to happen from the get-go. I will point out that 30,000 damage in 38-minute game, that is quite a lot there from Kramer, but it does make perfect sense, doesn't it? Ban Aphelios. Do not let that champion through.
I actually didn't think I would see a single Aphelios today.
Neither did I. I was like, Aphelios, I've got all his stuff here. I'm like, nah, I don't need it. But turns out we were wrong.
Yep. So it's very difficult to play against him. I think what we've seen, a lot of the lane counters, what they do is they just run things like Leona, Yasuo, Blitzcrank, just try to get him with his lack of mobility. That's the one semi-weakness that everyone has been focusing on, but it's still too difficult to deny him overall. I think his tools in the mid-game are just too damn devastating, especially if the Aphelios knows what he's doing and has prepped for the potential engagements. He's going to be very hard to take down. He self-heals a lot. He's able to catch from very long ranges, and he can set up Baron plays or objective fights very well with things like Infernum and Crescendum as well. So I really think Aphelios right now, you think that a champion with so much flexibility should sacrifice efficiency in each of his categories, but that simply is not the case. He's outstanding in all situations.
In all fields. It was a Kramer game 1, one to look up to. If he doesn't get MVP, I'd be very surprised. However, we're going to go to a short break, see if it's left open again, heading towards game 2.